If you're watching this video, it's because you're probably curious about how Conversa's virtual campus functions. We're going to try to go through some of the different areas, how they work, what you can expect, and hopefully that will help answer some questions you may have about how the campus works. To begin, I'll explain that there are different structures, different buildings around the campus, and we call these venues. And we use these venues to host different types of activities. The way the venues work is very simple. If there's an activity scheduled at a venue throughout the course of the day, the venue is going to be highlighted in white. This means that the activity is scheduled to begin sometime later today. If the venue is highlighted in yellow, it means that the activity is scheduled to begin within the hour. And if the venue is highlighted in green, then that means that the activity is going to begin in just a few minutes or is already underway. When you click on a venue, it pops up a little window that describes what activity is scheduled at that venue later today. In this case, we have an interview of Marco Molleda, who is a Conversa teacher, and it's going to be hosted by Catherine Rojas, who is our academic coordinator. The ideal level for this particular activity is intermediate, and it's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. When the time comes for the activity, there will be a button to the activity to join it. But until then, you get the information of what is scheduled later there today. So you simply close that and you're back at the campus. If you want to know what activities are scheduled for later in the day or throughout the course of the week, you can go down to this communication tower at the bottom right and click on that. And that's going to show you the activities that are scheduled for the remainder of the week. And it's kind of a scrolling list there. So if you put your cursor over it, it stops the scrolling. And if you click on any one of these, it's going to give you the details of that specific activity to the right there. So this is the one that we just saw that that will be hosted later today. We have a Q&A session that's scheduled for later in the day. And then if we go and look at what's going on tomorrow, we have an activity that's going to be hosted by Hazel that's for beginners. We have a reading club activity that's going to be hosted by Maricela that's more for an intermediate level and so on. So this is an easy way to see what is coming down the pike. In addition to the workshops that we have scheduled, we also have a park. And this is an open space for anybody to meet. So if there's a conversation that you are having in one of the workshops and the workshop finishes, but you want to continue that conversation, the park is a good place to go to carry on that conversation. So you just simply go into the park. It tells us if anybody has been in there recently, and if the answer is no, we simply go in and we'll be the first person to go into the park. When we do that, once the page is refreshed, or for anybody else who's visiting, who's looking at the campus at that time, the park now becomes active. And that tells us that somebody has entered the park within the past few minutes. And not only does it highlight it in green, but you'll also see there's added activity at the park. You'll see people walking around the park, and that tells us that somebody is in the park. So if I'm going to meet someone there, or if we were planning on meeting there, I know that there's activity. I simply join and click on the link that says join them, Vamos al Parque. That'll take me into the park and I'll be able to continue that conversation with them. You may have also noticed that to the top left up here, there's a little chat box, and it shows that the student that I'm using for the sake of this demonstration, Jerry, is in the park. So it says I'm in the park, and that's just a quick way of showing other people who are here that I enter the park. You'll also see here it says Jerry enter the park. So that's a way for others to see who else has gone into the park, and it makes it easier to meet them at that location. The same is true if I were to go into a workshop at the coffee shop or at the library or whatnot. That same entry will be recorded here for others to see. So Jerry went into the library, or Jerry went into the museum, and so on. So that'll help people figure out where other people are. Another important area is the office building here. So the left wing is for classrooms, or this is where you would go if you have a class scheduled today. So this student, Jerry, has a class scheduled at 6 p.m. So when that time comes, they'll go here and they'll click on that link, and that will take them into their class with their teacher, Catherine. And then we have the administrative office right in the middle. I click on that, and it's going to show you the doors to each one of our offices. And when someone is in their office, their door is going to be open. And you'll see that highlighted in green. So when somebody's door is open, you simply click on that door, and that'll take you into the meeting with that person. So this is a great way to, sit down and have a chat with an administrator, with the academic coordinator, or with your teacher. It's important to note that this is not the teacher's classroom. This is their office. This is where you go to ask a question. The classroom you'll access by going here to the Aulas building and clicking on Go to Class. Now, how do I get to my student resources? To go to student resources, I go up here to the top right to that little desk area, and I click on that, and that's going to take me to the student resource portal. This is where you have the posts that your teacher has shared with you, your class notes, homework assignments, all of these different resources, your toolbox if you want to go in and take a look at the study guide or the grammar lessons, anything like that. That's where all of this information is. So again, if you're at the campus, you want to go to that top right little study desk or study area, and that'll take you to the student resources. There are a couple other things that are important to look at. When you first start using the system, you'll see that at the top right, there's a link that says Start in Campus. And what this does is it allows you to come straight to the campus when you log in. So when you go to conversa.com, normally it would take you to this page here, which is your student resource area. But if you wanted it to take you straight into the campus as your first kind of point of entry when you log in, then you simply click on that link here, Start in Campus. So when I do that, the next time I log into conversa.com, it's going to bring me straight to the campus. And again, to get to my student resources, I simply click on this little desk area at the top right, and that'll take me there. If I want to change that back, I can go to my profile, and down here, bottom right, we have Start in Campus, and that's checked because that's what I adjusted earlier. I'm going to uncheck that. And then there's another option down here that says Campus Visibility. And it says, I am visible to others while I am visiting the campus. So if I don't want others to be able to see me, I uncheck that. That means that when I go to the campus, no one is going to know that I am there. Now, they're not going to know I'm there, but I also am not going to be able to see if anybody else is there. So in my case, I like that on because I want to be able to see what other people are doing on the campus, and I want them to be able to see me, and we can chat through that chat box and join in the park and so on. Now, being visible in the campus or not does not change how the campus works and being able to access workshops and all of these different features. It simply means that this chat box here at the top left is not going to be active, and I'm not going to be able to see who else is on the campus at the same time as I am. That's most of what we want to talk about here with this campus. Hopefully that helps answer some of the questions that you may have. If you do have more questions, please let us know, info@conversa.com, and we'll do our best to help out. We're looking forward to seeing you around campus.